Hey there everybody, Justin Archer here, aka The Posture Guy, coming to you live today from, well, apparently my living room floor. But that's besides the point. No, the point today is to answer the question, do you have to have perfect posture to be pain-free? And I thought it was important to answer this question because it's one I often get from my clients. And for anybody who hasn't worked with me one-on-one, let me give you a brief overview of how the whole process works. You see, I spend a great amount of time with my clients, whether it be in person or on one-on-one on live video, aka Skype, or maybe through a submission of postural photos via email and or over the phone. I'm constantly going over with my clients their posture. We're evaluating, we're assessing, we're scrutinizing every little last bit in detail in an effort to have them become their own therapist so they can recognize on themselves what a externally rotated femur looks like, or an elevated hip, or a rotated torso, so then they could recognize it and then they know what to do to correct it themselves. Initially I'm teaching them, but then they get to the point where they can become their own therapist, and when that happens it's great. But as that process unfolds, most people are very quick learners and able to pick out on their posture what needs to be improved upon. But then they also compare their posture, maybe when they're first starting out, to what we're ultimately aiming for, what's known as our original blueprint, or otherwise known as perfect posture. And if you don't know what I'm referring to when I say original blueprint, I'll put a picture up here on the screen for you so you can get a better idea. And like I mentioned earlier, it's perfect posture is essentially what it is. You can see from the front and back, the shoulders, hips, knees, ankles are vertically stacked. The body is balanced left to right. From the side view, again, all the load-bearing joints, the shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles are vertically stacked. There's that perfect dynamic tension of weight front to back. And then there's a nice S-curve in the spine. And that's what my clients and I are all shooting for them to have. And so when they see this, you may have the same reaction. They go, "All right, Justin, come on. Like you don't see anybody walking around nowadays with posture like this." And I go, "You know what? You are absolutely 100% correct. It's very far and few in between people that you see postures like this." I go, "But that doesn't necessarily make it right. If you look at other statistics out there, it's like I think the average consumer debt, per household is like something like $55,000. Okay, that's normal, but is it right? Of course not. Nobody wants $55,000 in debt, and nobody wants these postural dysfunctions and compensations that we see that are just plaguing the world. You go outside and just watch the next 10, 20 people go by, and you'll see them, whether it be rounded shoulders or an anteriorly tilted pelvis or rotated hips, whatever they are. They're out there, and there's tons of them. But that doesn't mean that we should just give up. We should always strive to be better. And that's what I tell people. Don't get too focused on having that perfect posture. That's at the top of the mountain. Right now, just focus maybe 5 or 10 steps ahead of you and work on improving your posture on what it currently is today and what it was yesterday. So just get a little better and a little better. And as your posture improves, and as your overall functions improve, what some people may call flexibility, strength, range of motion, as those things improve, your form, your posture will improve, and your pain will be less and less and less until it's non-existent. Okay, so your symptom and your posture and its function are all intertwined. They all correlate together. You can't have one without the other. So you can't have that perfect posture and be in pain. I've never seen it. But the opposite is true, is I've never seen someone, come to me in pain who doesn't have bad posture. So, you do not have to have perfect posture to be pain-free. That's not to say, though, that it shouldn't be strived for each and every day. And I know it could be a challenge. I would say, in the 10 or so years that I've been doing postural alignment therapy as a client myself to the method, there's maybe been a handful of times where I can say I've had perfect posture. And it took a lot of work, and that would go for anybody. And that's also just because, the modern day times that we're living in, where we're interacting every day with things like cars and computers and now iPhones and tablets and things like that, restrict a lot of our movement. We don't need any more nowadays to run, jump, leap, roll, climb, hang, swing, and do all these other things like our ancestors, used to do. With more and more technology comes less and less movement. And the movement we do is repetitive and in a very small little box of movement. So maybe this stuff, texting, people are better at today than ever, and they're going to be better at it tomorrow. But maybe something like swinging an axe, which maybe for your parents or your grandparents, would be no big deal. They could do it all day and be fine. Nowadays, someone goes out there, swings it a good dozen times, and oh my gosh, I herniated my L4, L5 disc or something like that. So that brings us back to, okay, no, you don't have to have perfect posture to be pain-free, but you do have to have perfect posture to to decrease the amount of physical limitations you have. So if you want to be fully functional, if you want to perform at your optimal level, have all the range of motions of your hip, shoulder, every joint, be flexible, be able to sprint and jump and do all these athletic things, then it's even more important for you to have perfect posture, because also you're putting more demand on your body, which also answers the question that I get from a lot of clients is they may look at their posture and go, okay, I can see where I'm off. Man, my back hurts, my knee hurts, my shoulder hurts. My Uncle Bob, his posture is atrocious. It's terrible. He looks like a turtle bent over. And, he doesn't hurt at all. What's going on? But if you compare lifestyles, you soon find the reason why. Maybe my client is trying to be a triathlete with their posture that's maybe, 30 or 40% off. And so when they go try to train for a triathlon, their body lets them know right away because they're putting that demand on their body. Maybe the Uncle Bob they're referring to is someone who just works a desk job 9 to 5 and then comes home and their ideal of activity is to sit on the couch and watch TV. Very little demand. But I guarantee if Uncle Bob tried to copy their lifestyle, they would have the same pains, if not more, and they'd probably show up more as injuries. So it's important to note those different lifestyles. And finally is keep in mind that our bodies are organic. They're always in a flux of change, of growing and renewing and everything. So, again, don't, when I take my clients' pictures for their posture, I tell them this is just a snapshot in time. Your posture is going to get better, it's going to get worse. It's adaptable to your environment. So if I went and did, an hour's worth of posture alignment therapy exercises, I'm going to look either exactly like or pretty close to that original blueprint, what I refer to as Freddy function, that perfect alignment. But then if you and I got in a car and took a road trip from, LA to Vegas, maybe 4 or 5 hours one way, and we get out of the car, my posture is not going to be anywhere near as good as it was after I did the hour worth of exercise, because we just spent 4 or 5 hours, maybe 6 or 7 if we hit some traffic, in that seated position in a car. My back's going to probably be rounded, my shoulders going to be rounded forward, my low back and butt and hips may be kind of achy and sore. So again, keep in mind, form follows function, and we're all works in progress, myself included. So if you have a bad day or even a bad week, don't get discouraged. Just keep trying to be better each day and each week than you were previously. Because I guarantee if you look back even a few weeks or a few months ago on some of the other videos, you might notice, if you have a keen eye for posture, some things that were off of me. Maybe one of my shoulders, was a little bit more rolled forward, or maybe I had a slightly elevated hip. And that could be because, maybe that week I was traveling more, and I didn't get to do my exercises as much as I should be doing, bad posture guy. Or it could be that the previous night before, I was working hard to get a video post out to you guys, making sure that was in your inbox, which by the way, you're welcome. Okay, so keep all those things in mind, And just remember, just focus on each and every day and look to improve on what you were the day before. Okay? Anyways, thank you so much for joining me inside today's video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear them, and as well as I'm sure everybody else would too. That's how we all learn. And I look forward to seeing you inside my next video. Until then, take care and keep moving.